Hey, it's DK, back with Gundam Schwarzette, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's from Mobile Suit Gundam, the Witch Front Mercury. The kit came with two sets of decal, one being regular, other one being a thick plasticky sticker. Some clear parts, pink parts. Nothing special is happening in the manual. Let's start. It's been about 7 to 8 months since I posted my first video for this channel, and to be honest, I still haven't nailed down how to show my process well and efficiently yet. For example, sometimes I feel like the stop motion-y feeling looks good, and sometimes I feel like a slower paced, like cinematic looks better. Also, I've been shooting in 4K till now, but it was hugging too much space on my hard drive, so I decided to try 1080p HD for this one. It's much more manageable, easier to work with. Do you see the big quality difference? I think they look fine. It's not like I'm making a scientific discovery movie or anything. I just want to show and share what I do and show off the end result at the end. Hopefully someone can learn from it, maybe someone can even make fun of it because I'm doing it wrong, or teach me on the comment section below, Just enjoy the time while you're here. I watch at least 5 different Gunpla big YouTubers to learn from them. I study how they show their workflow, how they show their end pieces, how they frame their shot, how they cut and edit so the video is interesting and they flow better. I'm still just trying to figure out the best way to share my contents, so please understand if my video style changes from time to time. I can just do an Instagram post of before and after photo, but this is a video. I need to make it interesting somehow, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. Base build is done. It's mainly black and white with some gray here and there. You see those clear plastics? It should have shiny decals inside of it, but I didn't put it on because it is a base build. I mentioned this in some other video, but Evangelion is one of my favorite anime of all time. And as soon as I saw that little ring or hoop in its head, I knew this one had to be the Eva themed Gundam. So I'm scribing here, but not putting too much detail because Evas are more of a humanoid mechas, so I try to keep them as smooth as possible without doing too much panel gaps or panel lining. I'll be painting this to Eva Unit 1 color scheme, which will be purple, green, and orange. It's perfectly okay not to scribe the lines that come with natural with the kit, but when the panel gaps are not deep enough or too flat, you should put extra scribing lines once or twice so the ink, the panel liner, can get in between the lines. So this is aqueous surfacer from Mr. Hobby. Gray primer, I'm also using black, and I fell in love with these. To be straight up, I love the whole aqueous line. They are almost non-toxic. They call themselves a water-based paints, but they're really water-based paint with alcohol solvent in it. So they do smell like a chemical a bit. I read this somewhere that Mr. Hobby recently updated their formulas to aqueous line. Now they're even less toxic. After I do the airbrushing inside of my room, the smell goes away in like minutes after I turn on the fan and leave the windows open. So when I first started painting Gundams, I wanted to do everything like toxic free, go water based only, no chemical. So I tried going in a way of Vallejo and a Badger primer and paints, which they work, but I quickly realized that they're much weaker than lacquer or the alcohol solvent paints. For instance, I'm doing this masking, putting on my skin to loosen the stickiness so they don't peel off with the paints. I have to do this multiple times when I use the water-based primer or paints, but when I was using aqueous, I don't even think it was necessary to loosen up any stickiness from the masking tapes. So here I primed it black, and I'm gonna keep it black as is with the surfacer, but I wanted to paint some green on the armor piece, so I'm masking the places where I want to keep the black. This one I lacquered gold, the hatch part of it. I'm masking the hatch part so I can paint purple on the base of this piece. And you'll see these wooden toothpick pop up here and there. They work perfectly against like weaker paint surfaces. If I use the sharp metal, it'll probably just scratch up the paint. I guess this is common knowledge, but the water only based paint such as Vallejo brand, they are harder to paint with. I had to do like double, triple, quadruple coat to make it look like green. On few surfaces, I did it too much and it almost became like a gel. But if you're using this lacquer, for example, it goes on so quickly, thin layers, dries quickly. It's toxic, yes, but it's much easier to work with. I still want to keep my paint sets close to non-toxic side, so I'll be moving to like aqueous line or something water-based but with alcohol solvent than fully water-based because it's just harder to work with. I'll still use some lacquer here and there when the color I like is only available in lacquer. You know, I have to use lacquer then. I was so careful masking the green here because the water-based paint, they come off really easily. So I had to loosen it up multiple times and be really careful when I was putting it on with wooden toothpick. Now this is the star of the show. I specifically picked this aqueous purple for the Eva Unit 1 color. You'll see at the end that I used a lot of these purple because it's main themed color. But this aqueous line is really easy to work with. They get sprayed on as if they're lacquer paints and they almost smell like nothing. I do smell some alcohol, little chemical here and there, but it flies away so quickly. If I just leave the windows open, it will just be gone in a few minutes. So this is black aqueous surfacer with gold lacquer. Everything worked out perfectly. I didn't have to do anything. It was just done. But for this same base, aqueous black, but with the water based on top, you know, it was peeling off a little bit with it. So I had to like push it in, cut it in to fix it. So in conclusion, if I was working with aqueous line and lacquer, I didn't have to worry about anything, it just worked. But when I used the water-based Vallejo with lacquer or with aqueous, I had to be extra careful, like peeling off masking tape, putting on masking tape, because the water-based are weak. Since I didn't do much of an extra scribing for this Gundam, this is just going over the existing line, existing panel lines, and applying a little bit of a depth to it. It's placed like this, where you need to scribe, because if I didn't scribe, those lines won't stay, they will just be erased. I'm still kind of amazed how enamel thinner doesn't touch anything but enamel, you know. I mean, it's a simple order of operation, I guess. But yeah, it still amazes me how enamel thinner only touches enamel. And I recently started doing the water slide decals, and this is almost surprising as my first panel line, because when I first put my panel line on my Gundam, I was like, whoa, this gave so much depth. And when I started putting this water decals, water slide decals on Gundam. It's a small detail, but when you put them all together, they make this look so good. So on my next trip to Hobby Shop, I'm definitely picking up some extra decals for my future build. I think this turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. Only thing I'm not happy with will be the green part, because it was the water-based color. I wish I bought aqueous fluorescent green. Here it is, the custom version Eva Unit 1 build of Gundam Schwarzette. That big wing piece is also a big sword, two-end sword I guess, but that little thin samurai sword goes inside to make this fat sword. Maybe I should have put some lighting in here. Maybe it will be the future video. And why does this happen when I edit? I forgot to do a thinner on that leg. Oh well. And here comes Metal Build Eva Unit 1. Again, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and see you on the next build. See ya.